relations guy, and he always put the artist first and went out of his way to accommodate the artist. And it was all about relationships with Gil. And I love that, and I miss that, because nowadays that's almost impossible to find. You go to a company like Fender, forget it. It's going to be really difficult to find that one-on-one connection in a relationship with someone there, or Gibson or whoever it is. So I love that about Washburn. They released a few Michael Sweet models. Gil always took care of me, and then he left Washburn. And when he left, I knew that my days were numbered there, because there was no one else that was there that I could have that relationship with, that I could pick, text and say, hey, can I talk to you? And he'd call me back in 1 minute. You know what I mean? That's how it was with Gil. So when he left, I left. And some people say, oh, man, you change companies so often. And it's not by choice, to be honest with you. And some people say, why aren't you still playing Jacksons? And, well, that wasn't by choice. Grover Jackson took us on years ago. It was his company. And then it wound up, basically falling apart, and he went somewhere else. And as we all know, now Jackson's owned by Fender. And it's not the same company. I just didn't feel like the level of respect was there, and I would not feel comfortable going back to Jackson or playing Jacksons again in today's world. And oddly enough, Stryper helped put Jackson on the map when you really think about it. We were one of many bands that really built Jackson guitars. And that's all we used back in the day, exclusively. So, now I'm with a company called Sully Guitars. I love them. He's amazing. They're amazing. And I proudly play Sully guitars. And there is a few Michael Sweet models coming out relatively soon, a U.S. model and an import model.
Very cool.
Good. And I can remember that back when I was growing up in the 80s listening to you, everybody wanted a Jackson back at that time.
Yeah, man.
Get a hold of one.
Yeah, that was it. Jacksons were the guitars. That so many guys played Jackson guitars. Obviously bands like Rat and White Snake and Randy Rhoads and even Steve Vai played Jackson at one time. I mean, so many bands. Yeah. And we were one of them. That's all we played exclusively. And I got to say, those Jacksons back in those days were amazing.
Things before you go. First thing is, I have a couple questions for you. The first one, I just have to hit you with this one because I've never been able to talk to you in person, so I'd like to ask you, do you know how many guitarists it takes to change a light bulb?
Oh, man. I could probably do it with one. One guitar, man.
Yeah. It's actually it takes 4 guitarists to change a light bulb. 1 to change it, and 3 to sit around and say, I could have done it better.
True.
The other thing I wanted to mention was slightly tongue-in-cheek disappointment. I saw you on the History Tour.
Yep.
And I remember you made a comment about To Hell with the Devil. And if I remember correctly, I believe you said maybe our next album is going to be called F.U. Devil. All right? So you come out with Even the Devil Believes. It's close. But just wanted to express that, that would have been really something to hit the media with if you came out with
that. I can guarantee you that most everyone has said F you to the devil before.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm pretty certain of that, right?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
So, not that it's something we want our kids going around and saying, but it's certainly probably a relatively popular saying in private. Yeah, man. I mean, we're all about pushing the envelope, but yet at the same time, we never do it just to do it. I mean, we want there to be depth and meaning behind what we say. in what we do. And with our titles, it's important. Even the devil believes is a very important statement because he does believe. He was there from the beginning, and he knows what's going to happen. He knows what the future holds. He knows he's going to be on his knees, bound before God, saying Jesus is Lord.
Right.
And probably when he thinks of that, he trembles. And also, it takes a lot more than just saying that you believe. You got to show it. Because even the devil believes, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So true. So true. And it's amazing how so much can be in just one simple title.
Yeah.
How there's such a message in this album coming out. And we're all looking forward to it. September 4th, ladies and gentlemen. We're all going to be waiting. Is there a single coming out between now and then?
We have a new song coming out on release day, which is September 4th, and that's a music video for the song Do Unto Others.
Okay.
And it's one of my favorite tracks on the album. I love the lyric. I love the riff. Love the feel. And it's a perfect representation of this album, and I can't wait for people to hear it.
In this episode, Michael Sweet of Stryper discussed how even the devil believes. And the meaning behind this album title is that believing is one thing, but putting our faith into action is another. Throughout Scripture, Christianity is always defined by action. Jesus said to take up our cross daily, deny ourselves, and follow Him. That is action. It is not enough to believe, but we need to actually live our life and our actions for Him. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on Classic Christian Rock with Wildman and Steve. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform at ratethispodcast.com/CCR.